will never concede to threats.
Copy that. Weapons free.
President Trump just played a historic tactical Uno reverse card on Iran, the likes of which the world has never seen. He's remade the economy of the planet, and it's going to hurt America's number one enemy the most. It's not Iran. Get ready, buckle up. The peace negotiations failed, and that seemingly was the point. The more that you followed them, the more you realized it was more like Sun Tzu, Art of War. When peace is impossible, make it seem as though you tried, so that when you have to do the inevitable, it seems like your only logical step. The peace negotiations did not go well. J.D. Vance saying, unfortunately, we weren't able to make any headway. We were quite flexible. We were accommodating. The president told us, come here in good faith and do your best. And ladies and gentlemen, less than 12 hours after the collapse of the peace talks in Islamabad, Donald Trump went super bod and closed the Strait of Hormuz. That's right, you heard that right. President Trump says that he is actually now going to close the Strait of Hormuz. He's going to stop all the oil from flowing out of Iranian ports. Oh no. Too bad that Iran won't be able to get any of their oil out. They can drink it, they can eat it, but they won't be able to sell it. And who does Iran sell oil to exactly? By the way, at a subsidized rate. America's number one geopolitical enemy, which would be China. China gets 50% of their oil through the Strait of Hormuz. The vast majority of that oil is subsidized, cheap energy for America, for the world's fastest growing economy that is requiring as much energy input as possible as China tries to build compute. They're going to need so much energy to try and compete with America. You're going to have a lot of inputs in order to go toe-to-toe with our country on a military stage or on an AI stage or in a space age. And China's trying to do it, but they're going to fail because Iran was just shut down. The Hormuz Strait not only was shut down, but it was shut down on purpose. Now, President Trump making Iran the pariah of the world, suffocating our number one enemy and rival across the globe. And President Trump using the they don't have the cards. It's extortion. They're extorting the world. Let's make Iran the pariah of Earth. Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, marinetraffic.com tracks globally what's actually going on in the world. And you're going to notice something pretty remarkable here when it comes to massive tankers heading straight into the Gulf of America. Yikes. What's going on here? The world's economy is resetting in favor of United States energy as the number one energy producer on Earth. Now that we have Venezuela in our control and Iran in our control, America effectively controls 85% of tradable energy on the planet. Now, markets haven't stabilized just yet, but we've just cut off our number one geopolitical enemy. And by the way, the most sophisticated, largest capacity refinement facilities in the planet exist here in the Gulf Coast, in the Gulf of America, and they're increasing their capacity every single day. This is, of course, also where our oil companies have their biggest productions. This is the Gulf of America, packed with super tankers racing to load up on U.S. oil. Record exports, global energy demand is shifting directly to the United States of America. The economic boom is incoming. Look at this map. What this map shows is every large-scale tanker on the planet turning directly in the direction of America. President Trump had it planned out from the beginning, 10 steps ahead as always. Boats are sailing up, heading to our country, big, beautiful tankers. We'll load them up with oil, gas, and everything else. Right now, everything is changing. Look at this post going viral right now. Check out the map right here. A beeline to America. I honestly thought this map was made up. Hundreds of super tankers, the kind that carry 2 million barrels each, are currently racing towards the United States of America, the Gulf Coast from every direction. Atlantic, Indian, Africa, the scenic route where we were heading to Saudi Arabia, but never mind. Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz and everyone panicked. Oil hit $126 a barrel, gas hit $4 a gallon. Cable news did the whole crisis thing. And then something happened that nobody in the media seemed interested in reporting for obvious reasons. The world just switched suppliers, like changing the internet service provider, except the internet provider is the entire effing global energy economy. American oil exports are approaching record level. Gulf Coast refineries are running at 95% capacity. Super tankers that were mid-ocean on their way to the Persian Gulf literally just turned around and headed to Texas. It's not a metaphor. Ships tracking data shows them doing U-turns in the Indian Ocean. Meanwhile, China, which was getting 45% of its oil imports through Hormuz, was paying basement prices for sanctioned Iranian crude, is now competing with Japan and Europe for the same expensive American barrels. Chinese manufacturers are already raising prices on goods headed to the US. So to summarize, Iran played its biggest card. They effed around. And the main result was that the United States becomes the world's emergency gas station, and China's cheap energy subsidy evaporated. This is either the most elaborate coincidence in the history of geopolitics, or somebody planned the sequence: Venezuela, Iran, profits. Go figure out which one. By securing oil in Venezuela and blocking the Strait of Hormuz, Trump has effectively taken control of the world's oil supply, forcing all countries to buy oil from the U.S. or U.S.-aligned nations like Venezuela. Oh my, an absolute masterclass by Trump. People didn't realize Trump just pulled off the largest shift in global power ever. Trump essentially burned down the competition and said, America is open for business. Oil tankers are coming in droves to America to fill up. Your gangster in chief. You might not like it, but it is what it is. Just a reminder that dollars equal energy. And all energy is traded in the petrodollar. The petrodollar is never going away. It's stronger than ever. And with America backing up the energy supply, that dollar means energy, means compute, means the future. All wars are going to be driven by AI, compute, and drones. Who can hit AGI fast enough? Whose drone army can be swift enough to kill you? Who has the smartest AI? There's no such thing as a battlefield anymore without drones and without AI. That is the military grade's weapon of the future. If you don't have the compute, if you don't have the energy grid, if you don't have the capacity, you can't power your future. The energy is the weapon. And now President Trump is weaponizing it. Look at this, the beautiful map right there. Whoa. Look at that. Trump boom. Oil patch is winning bigly. As a result, the situation in Iran, the U.S. will become the most important source of energy on the planet. So to summarize, Iran played its biggest card, and the main result was that the United States became the world's emergency gas station, and China's cheap energy subsidy evaporated. Oil and Gas Workers of America Association says, we are ready, Mr. President. Massive numbers of completely empty oil tankers, some largest in the world, are heading right now to the United States to load up on the best and sweetest oil anywhere in the world. When we have oil, we have more oil than the next two largest oil economies combined, higher quality. We're waiting for you to turn it around. People didn't realize Trump just pulled the largest shift in power ever. Iran played their only card and rendered it moot. Absolutely incredible strategic maneuvering by President Trump. In strategic terms, the Iranians executed a classic use it or lose it blunder. By weaponizing the Eastern hostage, it compelled the very adaptations that render that hostage irrelevant. Global energy flows have begun a permanent eastward reroute that favors flexible producers over vulnerable choke point holders. The Hormuz get out of jail card turned into a grave. Look at that. It's over. Let's go ahead and read the conclusion here to this article that is also going viral. What began as a tactical gambit to survive immediate pressure has instead locked in decades of strategic decline. The geography of the oil trade, the scale of the United States export capacity, self-interest of Asian importers have combined to ensure that the Iranians traded its last card for the last time, and it didn't get burned what it could not afford to waste relevance and economic potential to climb out of the grave that it dug itself. The Hormuz closure wasn't a surprise to any serious person. One might argue Trump turned what the enemy believed was its leverage into a ticking time bomb trap. The Iranians just walked right into it. Iran was never the end goal. China is. President Trump, they're all coming. They're coming to our shoreline, he said just this morning. It's incredible. Look at this. A few weeks go by, and you see exactly what Trump is orchestrating. Trump is making America an energy-dominant nation, the biggest on earth. He's reshuffling NATO. He will bring an end to the Russia-Ukraine war, and he's bringing peace to the Middle East. Iran will collapse after this. U.S. CENTCOM, by the way, saying they are blockading. They are going to do it. Look at this. U.S. to blockade ships entering or exiting Iranian ports. You will not be able to get any oil into or out of Iran. One nice thing about a real country like the U.S. is that when you read something like this, you know we're going to do it. And it won't be like the fake closure that Iran tweets about. Iran fake, says they can close the Straits of Hormuz. They don't actually mean it. They actually can't. They don't have a navy. Anyway, the blockade will be enforced against any vessels of all nations entering or departing Iranian ports and coastal areas, including all Iranian ports on the Arabian Gulf and Gulf of Oman. CENTCOM forces will not impede freedom of navigation for vessels transiting the Strait of Hormuz from non-Iranian ports. Oh, what a badass move. Trump just flipped the straight narrative from open to block it, turning it into Iran versus the rest of the world. While oil flows still hold around 80% of normal, the real constraint isn't structural. Iran cannot push Hormuz too far without hitting China's red lines, since Beijing is the dominant buyer, can enforce discipline or accelerate bypass routes like pipelines and overland corridors. And oh my, what just happened? And they just opened up a giant corridor here. Look at this. The East-West pipeline is now operating at full capacity, 7 million barrels per day, according to the Saudi Ministry of Energy. They just built a pipeline to just go whoop, boop, 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 right over here to the Red Sea. We out of here. And every single other country is going to do it as well. Iran will become the world's pariah. They already are. Why would anybody ever want to deal with these people? Reverse psychology. Now the Iranians will try and open it. The art of the deal. If you don't get that this is primarily about China's oil supply amid impending invasion of Taiwan, I don't believe illumination will ever come to you. Blocking the Straits of Hormuz with the support of Oman and other Gulf nations has two objectives. It blocks Iran's exports and inflows of hard currency. It makes China force Iran to negotiate in realistic terms without being a strategic partner of Iran and the most impacted by the shutdown. The reason to do it now and not before may be because 80% of the crude supply at the Strait of Hormuz has already been replaced or rerouted. Rightly pointed out in the post below that the impact of the supply and demand for OPEC partners and customers as small as possible, the highest negative impact for the Iranian regime. Furthermore, OPEC has already agreed to lift quotas. And there you go. We out of here. Why F with these people? It's a thing of beauty, ladies and gentlemen. I don't understand. Why did Trump blockade it? Because Iran believes that they're the only ones who can threaten extortion, and Trump is showing them the two can play at this game, and he's playing by his own rules. Ladies and gentlemen, the Uno reverse. Absolute masterstroke. We'll see what happens next. It's exciting times. Lock in, ladies and gentlemen. These are certainly the days. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. See ya.